Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Hello and welcome to another episode of Living the Dream with Curveball. I am your host, Curveball, and today I'm joined by Rahul Alim. He is the owner of Customs Creatives, and they've been in business for 16 years. And what they specialize in doing is connecting their customers to their dream clients. And we're going to be talking about how he got started and all the brands that he's worked with. Rahul, thank you for joining me today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me today.
Why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself, maybe where you're from or any background information that you would want the audience to know before we get started?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll kind of give a background of what I do now and how I got started. So I started a company called Custom Creatives. It's a digital marketing agency. We work with several different brands, local businesses primarily. We're a back-end fulfillment center for other marketing agencies. So we also align ourselves with our competitors because we look at competition as allies in our brains. Our focal point really is kind of putting our clients in front of their ideal customers to go where the eyeballs are, which is typically on like social media channels, Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And those are the most popular channels so we can yield the most ROI for our clients without really wasting any money. Because we're really kind of see a lot of people focusing on like marketing agencies doing the wrong types of marketing because it's supposed to be an ROI impact when you invest into marketing. But sometimes it becomes a cost center, and that's what we're here for. Our mission and vision is to change that so it can be an investment vehicle into somebody's business that can outperform any real estate portfolio, any kind of mutual fund portfolio, and literally turn their own business and kind of take the mindset that it truly is an investment vehicle, kind of like Uber. You get to control your own returns when you have your marketing and your sales done very correctly and efficiently. So that's kind of where I am now. Where I started was not even close to there. I was kind of like a guy that didn't want to go to school when all my friends were applying to the UC schools in California, where I'm from. I was out there playing sports and had no intention to go to college. And my parents were asking me, "Oh, where are you going?" And I finally told them, "I'm like, you know what? I'm going to move to South America and be a famous soccer player. And once I make fame there, I'm going to go to Europe." And that quickly changed when they said, "Nope, you're going to college, kiddo." So I went to the university. Didn't really kind of focus too much on school. Focused more on sports. And I think that kind of got the entrepreneurship fire in me going. Just being kind of like the team captain of teams and kind of leading people and kind of going to like the will to win to victory. So we kind of take that kind of mindset going into business. And that allowed us to kind of succeed early. My first job was selling credit card machines. So it wasn't really all that pleasant. I was cold calling and I wasn't a salesperson. So that didn't last very long. I was about 30 days or 45 days in before I kind of threw in the towel and got the luckiest call of my entire life, which allowed me to start Custom Creatives. A company called Home Store, which is now known as Realtor.com, had offered me a position actually the opportunity to interview. And I was just thinking with the name Home Store, it's got to be a furniture store. And I didn't even look them up. I just showed up. About 100 people in the room there, waiting to interview for the same position. I got a little scared, so I was about to leave, and the person who recruited me for the interview kind of said, "Hey, stick it around. You'd be good for this position." Next thing you know, after 5 hours, 5 interviews, I got the position, and that was the company Realtor.com. And where I really got the career started into this business was I left the company after a couple of years, was doing fairly well when I left. And then I just stayed in the real estate niche for some time. And then Realtor.com turned around and said, "Hey, we see what you're doing. We like it. We haven't been able to replicate it. We tried other partners to work on what you're doing for our clients. Can we just hire you?" And that was kind of what changed the game for me, is getting a publicly traded company under my belt with a multi seven figure contract, which was pretty awesome to kind of have a small company. And honestly, for those of you guys out there, this was literally me by myself. So if somebody from realtor.com is listening to this, you're going to now know that I was a one-man show. That was it. I had to bring my dad and my girlfriend at the time to the meeting to kind of fill the room with more bodies, so I didn't look like it was just me when we were meeting face to face. But then that's how I kind of quickly grew from just me, a solopreneur, a professional hustler and freelancer, all the way into a team of 60 people.
For those who don't know, explain what the letters ROI mean.
ROI stands for return on investment. So when you put money into something, you want more money coming out. So you're making a profit. And that's what marketing is supposed to do. For most, that's not the case. It becomes a cost because it doesn't get the right customers. That's why it's pretty strategic when hiring marketing, because it could be a complete money pit, or it could be the thing that escalates your business to the next level.
In your bio, you talk about the GD sales method. Explain what that is and how that works for you and your company.
Yeah, so GSD is something that we live by. You may all know what it actually stands for. It's kind of get ish done without the S word, if you will. And that's kind of like our whole mentality and our mantra over here internally, because that's something that I live by when I played sports, and I brought it into the business world to kind of keep that energy of what we want to go and accomplish. Because there's like a bigger mission than just the people. It's a company level, so we're all like a part of this company and a team. And I love sports analogies. I'm a huge Los Angeles Laker fan, so we wholeheartedly believe that our team is interlinked, and we're as strong as our weakest link. So we're always kind of trying to be rising all the tides with by helping each other and learning from each other and kind of nurturing each other as more of a family type business. So we can all kind of like get the result we want, both personally and also for a company goal. But GSD is like a group that we have where we train young entrepreneurs and teach them how to start their business, trying to from like coming up with offers, sales strategies, hiring strategies, fulfillment strategies, pricing, marketing, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the name of our program, is the GSD Elite.
So let's talk about some of the brands that you've worked with during your company.
Yeah, so some cool brands, like I mentioned realtor.com is one of them, and that's really meaningful for me, not only because they were my former employer, but then they actually hired at me after I kind of left them. But some other cool brands like CBS, Geico, Montblanc, even advertise.com. And that one was a cool one too, because I made that relationship with someone I worked with at realtor.com that introduced me to their CEO. So that was a cool one to have a feather in our cap, because as part of our marketing, we would kind of jokingly say like, hey, we have you ever heard of advertise.com? Isn't it pretty cool that we do their advertising?
Sweet. Now, if I was one of your customers that was going to be hiring you, what could I expect from the time I sign on, and how would you help me grow whatever my business might be?
Yeah, good question. So the first and foremost, we want to make sure that we can even help you to begin with, because there's a powerful word, and that word is the two letters. It's no, because sometimes we don't want to take on a client that is not ready or not an ideal fit for us, because we just have to understand, where are you now? Where do you want to be? And what's the bottlenecks that's holding you back? Once we understand where you're looking for the most help, almost like a doctor, when you go into the doctor's office, the doctor will kind of like, if you have a hurt ankle, they'll evaluate whether it's a sprain, a severe sprain, a fracture, or a break. And you'll take the doctor's orders. Same thing here. We take that same approach of understanding what is it that you want and what is it that you actually need to accomplish your end result of your goal. And then what are the missing gaps in the way? Because every local business, the one thing they want is leads, and leads lead to customers. In order to get leads, you need a sales process. So if it's going to be like a restaurant, we need to make sure that, hey, there's a process that the front desk girl, or whatever they're called, the hostess, is going to be available. They're going to be trained properly. They're going to be welcoming, because we've all been to restaurants where there's nobody at the front of the house, or they come up and they're rude, and then you have a bad situation going on. So we want to understand, like, what is the lay of the land, no matter what the business is, whether it's a dentist's office, a lawyer's office, etc., so that we know what challenges we face. Because if we're we're driving traffic and we're not able to monetize it, we want to be able to apply the training and the necessary tools that that company will need to hear to increase their revenue. So that's one part. And then we build out like the sales funnels. And a sales funnel simply is we understand our ideal customer. We put an offer in front of them, like something they will be attracted to, like a stranger that may be going on Google, doing an inbound search. We'll use those headlines to attract them to click on our ad as a newspaper headline. Or if it's a Facebook or Instagram ad, we have to have something compelling to disrupt them because that's not an inbound like search traffic type of platform. People go to Instagram and Facebook for entertainment and hanging out with their friends. It's a social network. So we come up with the pattern disrupt of our copy, of our advertisements, and we make it friction free to do business with you. Meaning, when they click the ad, we're not going to take them necessarily to a homepage because then they're going to explore the website and they're going to ultimately leave because there's too many options. Kind of like going to a deli when you go sit down and it takes you 20 minutes to get through 20 pages of options. That's kind of like what we think about of a website. So there's one offer, one action on the landing page, and then we can get them to come through to commit to give their contact information or whatever that desired result is. It could be an email address, a cell phone number, or a purchase. And then we have a follow-up process. So we don't want to leak another lead. So when people come into our ecosystem, we've spent money to buy that data or buy that customer. Then we want to have a process of what the next steps is. Sometimes it could be a trigger to a calendar to a sales saying, follow up with this person and see if they're a good fit for us. Another could be an email series of a campaign that leads to a webinar or whatever that desired action is. We really kind of map that out so we can kind of get the most out of our advertising dollars, especially if we're on like an economic budget.
So I know we've talked about the brands that you work with, but how many companies, how many clients basically, you don't have to give a specific number, but just, maybe like a rough estimate of how many clients you're currently working with right now so people kind of know that, you're the real deal and what you're working with.
Yeah. So since we're a marketing agency, the way we operate is we have recurring clients that stay with us month over month over month. So we're a little over 100 customers at a time. Sometimes it can go as high as 200 customers, depending on the service, because some of our services are just one-time project sets. So at any given time, we can have, on average, we'll probably have like 100 recurring customers at a time. And then if we're doing like a lot of one-off projects, then it can double depending on what kind of promotion cycle we're in as a client company. But overall, if I can quantify just from a guesstimate, I mean, it'd be a couple thousand customers over the years. And if I quantify like my specific relationship with like realtor.com being their vendor, we worked with about 40,000 different real estate agents all over the United States.
So let's talk about the services specifically that you provide. So somebody's listening to this is thinking about using you. They don't have to wonder, do they provide that service? Because you're gonna tell them right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. So we offer something called SEO, which stands for search engine optimization. So when people do a search on Google looking for a service, a product, or a business, we help people rank at the top. And that means that map listings, where you have three listings there, our goal is to get you in that three pack. And then below the maps is what like marketers like myself called the organic results. There's only 10. So we want to be in that top 10, and the top three get the most traffic. So a lot of companies come to us, they're not on the top 10 pages or don't even exist. So now we kind of treat it like the gym. We have to kind of work our way to the top. Sometimes we see a very fast accelerated result where we can rise to the top quickly. And it all depends on the competitive analysis and the landscape of what that industry is. So we customize a unique approach so we can maximize that efficiency to get you there. And once you're there, we kind of like planted our stake in the ground of page one. It's almost like waterfront real estate, if you will, because very rarely do people go past page one. And once we're there for our core phrases of how people search for us, then we associate revenue to that because every click becomes an opportunity to your website. to your company and your business, but also the brand impact that people can remember you and start, instead of going to Google to search for something, they start to go to Google to search specifically your name. Kind of like with shoes, people don't always type in, I need Nike or tennis shoes. They go to Nike.com directly. So the goal of SEO in the long game is to make you a destination website versus a one of many general search. Now, the second type of service is paid advertising, and that comes on social media and also on Google. If we want to rise to the top right now and buy our way to the top, and we have an offer that's really good, and there's profit margin in the pricing strategy of your products and services, we may want to pay Google some money and saying, "Hey, get us some traffic right now. Let's test out this product. Let's try and see if we can get some new customers in our door." And when we get a new customer, then we want to know what's our lifetime value of the customer. Now, if a customer pays, let's say, $100 and they come in and it costs us $50 to get that client, we may have a break even scenario if our cost of fulfillment is 100. What I teach people is that we just acquired a customer for $0. We got a free customer. We put $100 in. We got a customer that paid us $50. Our fulfillment, I'm sorry, we paid $50 to get the customer. Our fulfillment cost was 50. Now we have zero sum game. Now our job is to ascend them up into our other products and services. So that's kind of the investment mindset strategy that we kind of deploy into people, because it's all about the long game, not necessarily just the short game. Then the other side of it is, aside from Google, which is an inbound search engine, people just search for stuff. Then we have the number one social media platform in the world, and they also own Instagram. That's Facebook. So we create strategic ways to get your ideal customer to be magnetized to want to click your ad and convert into your sales funnel. Now you have a new customer that you could potentially sign on that is a high paying customer for your business. So in summary, search engine optimization, Google ads, and social media marketing.
Do you guys have any upcoming projects that you're working on there at Customs Creatives? Do you have any books, any podcasts, any courses that you're working on for people to take advantage of?
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you asked that. So, we do offer a LinkedIn mini course that allows you to figure out how you can attract your ideal customer, leveraging LinkedIn to reach out to them, to start a conversation, to move them into a sales call. We also have like something called the perfect stranger method, which is kind of like authentic attraction. So we teach people how to leverage their personal profile on Facebook to start to attract their buying audience. Because a lot of people use their personal profile, maybe never, or with just family or friends. We now show them how to leverage that into a business asset that can bring in leads, like 10, 20, 30 leads every single week, where people are raising their hand saying, "Hey, I like what you posted. I'm interested." So we have a unique method on how to take them from like your Facebook profile to be authentically attracted to you. And then we have a Facebook Messenger strategy on how to like convince or persuade, is probably a better word, to want to hop on a call for with you to solve their needs and their problems.
That sounds good. That LinkedIn service. So I might be interested in checking that out.
Yeah, and really quickly, it's just $7. So anyone can afford it. If you need clients, our LinkedIn program is literally just $7. And this is something we teach our private clients, our students that we do group training with. It's part of a bigger program. And we use this as a first touch point that's quote unquote friction free. So people can have low risk, but a high reward and a win. And our bet is they have such great success that they'll want to work with us some more.
Well, let's give out your contact information so that way people who want to look at your services and take advantage of them can connect with you, your social media, any way that you would want customers to be able to connect with you.
Absolutely. So my name is Rahul Alim. I have the same photo. Actually, my photo is not showing. If you go on Facebook, you can find me. On LinkedIn, you can find me. But the best way and the most accurate way that will be easy for the audience will be this domain name, this website. It's custom creatives with an S at the end, customcreatives.com/win. WIN. So on that page, for everybody that's going to listen to this, I have a free lead magnet And Lead Magnet is just simply a PDF cheat sheet that you can download. There's no opt-in required. You just click a big yellow button that's at the top of that page, and it gives you like a little funnel, like how to structure a sales funnel. And then there's a video walkthrough, and there's links to my social media, my group from there, that you can join my group and you can get additional free training where we have like sales training, offers, and pricing strategies, upsells, cross sells, downsells. We have all sorts of like free content that we do every single week, multiple times a week, just to help our audience grow.
Are there any other topics that we haven't touched on? Any other tips that you have for the listeners that we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about mindset. That's probably one of the most important things that early entrepreneurs kind of burn out on. I mean, I just want to kind of give a backstory. I don't have any in particular skill that I had when I started my company. It was just a hard work ethic that I was raised, and I think sports helped a lot, and my family helped a lot with having that desire and passion to want to strive to see a level of success that I define. I don't compare myself to other people. If I did, then I would be like really kind of depressed. So that's my first advice: is the game you're playing is yours. You get to win or lose. Don't compare yourself to others. That'll hurt you. Hit goals and find the necessary tools that you need to reach those goals. When you're stuck or you're staring at a computer or you're just kind of going in circles, really define down like, what is it that I truly want? What is it that I know I need to move that needle, and focus on the most important things? The heart, like a lot of people talk about this frog analogy. Eat the frog in the morning, the first thing you do. That just simply means do the hardest task that's going to have the greatest impact, instead of avoiding it and kicking the can down the road. Because we can all go on social media and get distracted. The next thing you know, you're on Facebook to Instagram to TikTok to LinkedIn, and you're not even really being productive. You're a spectator sport. The best thing you could do is join the party, voice up, be vulnerable, because good things happen when you start to voice up. People know who you are. They start to connect with you because you're probably smarter than you may think you are. Because when you're a chapter ahead of somebody else, you're making massive impact to somebody's life. So I think just get your message across, document your journey along the way, put the content out there that would help support your cause of what you're trying to accomplish, and you will authentically attract your ideal customer. Especially if this is like business people that are listening to this, that's how you're going to make a lot of revenue. You're going to have a lot of fun. You'll avoid burnout, and you'll also be able to attract other team players that want to be a part of your mission and vision too.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rahul Alim. Rahul, thank you so much for joining me today.
Wow, this was just absolutely my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, and listeners, please be sure to like, rate, and review after listening to this episode. For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.